Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Philip. This is the Ranger's Respite, and today I'm making another unusual video. First, I'm going to reach into my box of samples, pull out something to sip on while I chat with y'all. I ended up with Kilo and Rum and Raisin #2, sample courtesy of Rich at the Old Man's Irish Pub. Well, you may have deduced by the thumbnail and the title of this video that I am venting my spleen about Flaviar, much as I vented my spleen about VAABC. Where to start? I suppose starting with sort of the beginning, as it were, would be a good place to start. You see, on November 10th, I ordered technically 2 sets of things from Flaviar. Grand total being about $850, $860-ish after tax. Sorry, my math was a little bit wrong there. And on the 11th, I got an email saying, "Oh, order confirmed. Here's what you ordered. There's a slight delay due to holiday processing." Whatever. I wasn't worried too much about that. And that was it for communication. I started to feel a little bit funny. Like a couple days later when I hadn't heard anything, but it is what it is. Busy time of year. Placed my order for something else. And got same day shipping confirmation from Flaviar, which I thought was weird. A little bit weird, but that's okay. Things are complicated. So I checked the order details through Flaviar, and it said that it had been assigned to a fulfillment partner. SKU not found, order unassigned, and then it was assigned to another place where it sat until the 20th when I sent them an email to say, "Hey, I haven't heard anything about this order. I'm confused and concerned because one of the items in the order has sold out at this time because it sold out on the day that it was publicly available." And the response I received was first from Corky, their flavor concierge, saying, "We understand that this is frustrating. Let me connect you with a member of our customer service team." The person that I was connected to had the name Philippine, Philippine, like the country, if you take the S off the end. Weird. I try not to judge for unusual names, but given that my first name is Philip, I found it interesting that the person that I was given as a flavor concierge after Corky, which is a chatbot, transparently a chatbot, was someone named Philippine. Anyway, they said, "Oh, let me check in with our fulfillment team and get back to you." Cool. I waited 3 days. Didn't hear anything. On the third day, I sent an email. "Hey, is any movement on this? Any further details?" At this point, it has not changed from being assigned to their Coronado tasting room for fulfillment. You know, the next day I got an email. I haven't heard back from our fulfillment team. Let me follow up on that, and I'm going to just say right now, someone who worked fulfillment for a massive corporation that handled hundreds of thousands of orders every day, and processed, probably close to 100 orders, including store pickup, shipping out, and customer contacts every day. If a customer service rep reaches out to a fulfillment team somewhere, and that fulfillment team does not respond for 4 days, that's a massive problem. And I'll talk about what I think actually happened in a moment. Now, in this time, the next day, after I received that second reply saying, "Oh, I haven't heard anything from my fulfillment team. Let me, follow up on that. Get a some of one or more of the items that you have ordered is out of stock, and it will be shipped as soon as they are in stock. We're expecting them to be shipped before the end of the week." Now, I have to admit, at this point, I had reached out and talked to other people who were having issues. And I had heard from the producer from whom I had ordered these items. Now, this is a little bit important because there was a little bit of a distributor mess up. It happens. Spirits that were supposed to end up in the Flaviar warehouse, didn't in a timely manner due to a mix-up at the distributor. At this point, I knew that that was an issue for one of the things in these bundles. It turns out that there may have been multiple items in these bundles that were subject to this goof. And if Flaviar had reached out and said anything proactively, it would have been fine. I would have been chill. I wouldn't have been as frustrated as I am now. But they didn't. They said it should ship out within a week. I put a timer on it. Friday, the deadline. If it hadn't shipped by end of day on Friday, I was going to send another email to be like, "Hey, where's my order? When is it getting shipped?" But it shipped on Friday. It arrived. Everything was fine. But fascinatingly, within an hour or two of the your order should ship within a week, I got a follow-up from Corky, the transparent chat bot, that said, "It looks like your issue's been resolved," or something to that effect. I don't have the email in front of me right now. The wording doesn't matter. It's a chat bot. That's lovely stuff. So, why am I upset? Well, it's one of those things where it's like, if I had sat on an order without making any customer contact for 10 days, because remember, order placed on the 10th, publicly available on the 12th, contacted them, reached out to them on the 20th. 10 days. If I had sat on a customer order without reaching out at the last company that I worked for 10 days, that would have been a sign of serious failure to do my job. I would have gotten, at the very least, a talking to. Somebody else on the team would have done it. What this tells me is either that they had no intention of communicating with their customers at all, or that they are so disorganized that they just assumed that they reached out. Now, one of the things that is important to note is, I mentioned it before. I had, at the time of that, "Hey, we're going to ship them out by the end of the week," I had been discussing with 3 other people who had placed orders, who had independently reached out roughly the same time as I did to ask about these things. These 3 people got similar but slightly different responses. One of them got the exact list of the things that they didn't have in stock, which I didn't get a specific list. They just got one or more of the items. One of them was told that it would be shipped out within a few days upon their first contact. Basically, they were told by this customer service rep, and they think the person that I'm speaking about right now was pretty sure that it was an AI bot or a chat bot with a different name, and I'm not convinced otherwise. Um, Basically gave them like a circular, like uh, there are a couple of things that we don't have. These are the things. It'll ship out in a few days, and at no point was any proactive contact made by Flaviar, which I don't like. I don't think Flaviar really has a customer service team. I think they've got chatbots. I don't think they even have like off-site, offshore call center people or their computer keyboard wielding equivalents. I think that they have chatbots that are monitored by one or two people, and things don't go well. But the the communication via chatbot is extremely annoying. I hate it. It is only one of three problems. That's the first one. The second one is the zero communication. 10 days between when I've placed the order and when I've reached out. And the only reason I heard anything from them was because I reached out. The only reason I got a second follow-up email because I full-heartedly 100% believe that if I hadn't followed up again on that email, if I hadn't been like, hey, it's been a few days and I haven't heard back from you, you said you were going to reach out to your fulfillment team, has there been any movement? I fully believe that if I hadn't sent that email, I wouldn't have received anything else. That would have been it, because they don't have any sort of real want to do customer service stuff. They're what they want to do is they want to set it and forget it and hope that you do too. And therein lies the problem. So that's two of the three. The third one is more of like an incidental. This is the second time I've made this video. The first time I got really irrationally angry. That's not true. I just got very angry. My language is very pointed, a little bit crass, keeping it clean. The third problem is actually totally unrelated. You see, I had remembered years ago, well, maybe not years ago, when Flaviar first hit my radar. It was in the sense that they sent out like blind sample, not blind, but like sample packs, explore whiskey sort of thing. And you could also order bottles off their website. And I was like, I haven't heard anybody talking about that service from Flaviar in a long time. I wonder if they still do it. I wonder if they still have their own website or if they're just doing like fulfillment for retail and online fulfillment for retail and producer partners. And I think that has to be the case because their website is unusable. So let's talk about web design, websites, and online storefronts. If you have an online storefront and you sort of have like the classic modern, you got a little icon up in the corner that's got like the three little lines on it, so that like you click it and it opens up a drop down menu and you select on there and it opens up another drop down menu. Imagine something like that, except it opens up horizontally, and then like you go through and you select what you want, and then you get to like a product category page. Like say you're looking at Scotch whiskeys, because I was curious. Because it's like, yeah, oh, they do have a website. They do still have like a subscription service and whatnot. That's cool. Oh, and they did the advent calendars. That's cool. I wonder what their products for sale looks like on their website. Um, there's no telling because you can't look at them. Now, I'm not a web developer. I'm not a UI programmer. What I am is somebody who spends a lot of time digging through uh, websites like this. Um, when I was working for my last job, one of the things that I got extremely good at was being able to take this is kind of what I'm looking for, and using our company's website to find something that'd be the best fit and and show my customer that. Being able to use these websites can be difficult. It shouldn't be, but it can be. Flaviar's website is totally unusable, not because it's organized poorly or the pictures aren't representative of what they have, although there are maybe some of those. It isn't because the UI is clunky or that the website looks bad. It's unusable because you cannot physically use it. So I opened it up on my laptop. Went to look at the Scotch category. Started to scroll. It scrolled a few bits and then it like twitched and then locked in. And you can't scroll. Weird. Oh, thinking, okay, maybe it's like supposed to be a mobile site, so it's not set up in such a manner that you can scroll with your keypad. Fine. Tried to scroll by clicking and dragging. Nope, that's not it. Oh, maybe, it doesn't have an M prefix. I don't think it's a mobile site, but let me open it up on my phone because that's another scourge of modern internet is places having mobile sites that have stripped down UI and just I don't like them. And the same is true of their website. Loads, won't scroll, can't scroll. You can't use their website at all. Which leads me to believe that the way Flaviar is making their money is by doing online fulfillment and essentially connecting producers and retail partners through their own sort of back end, and that they don't actually really care about selling whiskey or customer interaction or anything like that. They don't give a shit about any of that. They just want to be the pure back end, moving stuff around, making connections, people. The problem is, let's say I'll use a company that isn't, I'll use a distillery that is shuttered. Say I want to order a bottle of 8 Shires Colonial Single Malt Whiskey. And 8 Shires is partnered with Flaviar. They weren't when they were still producing whiskey, but imagine that they were. And Flaviar holds all the cards. So, like, I place the order on the 8 Shires website. What happens is then 8 Shires tells Flaviar, oh, yeah, here's probably not even that complex. Flaviar probably runs the back end of their site. So, Flaviar has all my information immediately. Flaviar, let's say that they don't have this in their fulfillment facility, which I'm guessing is their Coronado tasting room. I could be wrong, but I think that might be how they refer to their like warehousing fulfillment center. So they sent it off to a retail partner, which is what they initially did with my order, and they don't have it. There's inventory error. It happens. Or they go and pull it off the shelf and realize that the seal is broken and therefore they can't really sell it. So what do they do? Well, if this end retail partner has my information, they could reach out. But if Flaviar has all the information and they're just looking at like a screen that says pack this, print this label, slap it on there, ship it out, they probably won't have my contact information. They may not have my email. They may not have my phone number. At any rate, now I'm frustrated because as a consumer, I just purchased from Shires. I didn't purchase from Flaviar. I didn't purchase from, say some Casa Rialto, whatever, the little podunk city on the border of California and Nevada that has a liquor store that has what I'm looking for. All of that's made up, by the way. I just came up with something off the top of my head for that. I ordered from Shires. If Flaviar, who has all my information, who is running that online storefront, doesn't pass along that information to that, Bubba's Liquors, has a bottle that I want that's part of their fulfillment network. And I'm not as keyed into it as I am because I do this a lot. I order a lot of whiskey online because this is one of the ways that I get stuff to talk about on the show that, may not be easy to get. And also, I also get a lot of stuff as generous gifts from family, friends, and my friends. But now I'm faced with the fact that I ordered from Shires. I'm going to be like, hey, my order hasn't shipped. I've received order confirmation, but I haven't received shipping confirmation. Can you help me? And they go, oh, well, let me check with our retail partner. They go to Flaviar, and Flaviar goes, oh yeah, we don't have any of that. Or, oh yeah, let me just go in and get back to you on that. And if I've done this over the phone, that means that I'm in the weird position of I'm talking to a representative of the producer who may not have my information. I can give them an order number, but that doesn't mean much because if they're not the ones administering their online storefront, because Flaviar is, they won't have that information. So what's happened is a breakdown because they don't want to do customer service. They've got an online storefront that is, I'm guessing, either intentionally or unintentionally, absolutely useless, unusable garbage. And who's going to catch all the flack? The producer, the person that you've or the company that you've ordered through is going to catch all the flack. And if it's a company that's relatively small that has placed their trust in this fulfillment partner, and this fulfillment partner has turned around and stepped in the back by not doing customer service, they're eroding trust in these small producer partners. They're eroding trust in these retail partners. And maybe the retail partners are doing their best, but the system that they have doesn't work very well. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Flaviar needs to get rid of all the AI, all the chatbots, replace them with real people, build up an actual culture of customer service, and that I think starts with making their website usable again and making it possible for them to have flavor concierge type people who actually help customers. I've rambled on long enough. I haven't even talked about rum and raisin number 2 from Killowen. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful poaching. Hmm. Hmm. I'm frustrated because I've never had this problem with Big Thirst. And Flaviar used to be the anytime you asked how to get something online, it used to be Flaviar. Flaviar will have it. Flaviar is everything. And of course, back when I first discovered Flaviar, they didn't ship to my Commonwealth. And until about midway through the pandemic, they didn't. By midway through the pandemic, I mean probably mid to late 2021. And so like you've got this weird like thing where it's like, you know, a good chunk of the internet views Flaviar as being the place to get stuff. And somewhere along the line that changed. I don't know where, I don't know how, but it changed for the worse. And now I think it's time for Flaviar to bow out and let somebody else take up the mantle, because it's clear that they don't have any real interest in doing any customer service. They are letting down their producer partners and probably their retail partners. The result is the customer suffers. When the customer suffers, the people that they think that they've ordered from, or the people whose name is across the screen in big type when they place their order, suffers. And I don't think that the folks at Flaviar really appreciate how much damage they're doing to their customer base and to their partners. And I'm hoping that more people will start talking about it. Three things. One, do not harass people. I've already poked them on the only social media they appear to have, which is Twitter. Which meant I had to remember my login for Twitter. And I have already sent them the email that's like, hey, I don't think you did a very good job on this. I think you could improve. I got no response because, of course, not. Because the AI chatbot files that into unhappy customer, don't interact. This just the shitification of everything. Without further ado, before my light overheats because it's already giving me a little bit of a warning light, take care. Stay geeks. Slancha.